Would you ever dream that a RYOBI tool would be compared to a FESTOOL? So which camp are you in? Do you want to spend $550 on a jigsaw, or do you want to spend south of $200 on a jigsaw all in? Most of you watching, if you need a FESTOOL, then you already know you need a FESTOOL and you know what price you're probably going to pay for it. Now, if you're not in that camp, then you're probably going to think, my goodness, why would you ever pay $500 and something for a jigsaw? And that's going to put you back in this camp. And do you want to buy a barrel grip jigsaw? In fact, it's RYOBI's 1+ HP barrel grip jigsaw, and they even claim it's in the compact series. Now let's go ahead and dive into the features on this, as well as their D-handle, as well as the FESTOOL, and see how they line up. To be clear, what we have in front of us is front and center the RYOBI 1+ HP 18-volt barrel grip jigsaw. The model number on this is the PSB JS01. It just released here in the last few weeks, and you can find these at the Home Depot. You can buy it as a bare tool, as well as a kit with the 2 amp hour battery and a charger. You really don't need anything bigger than that. If you're going to do a lot of cutting, you can throw a 4 amp hour on there, but this is not a high demand tool, so it's not something you need to throw an edge battery on. By all means, you can if you want to, but not necessarily needed. So that's the barrel grip. On the right here, we have the FESTOOL PSC 420EB, or better known as the Carvex cordless 18-volt jigsaw. Again, as mentioned, if you're an extreme woodworker, you know exactly what this tool is. And then on the left over here, we kind of have the bottom tier, is if you were looking at these, both in price as well as some of the features it offers, but by no means is it a slouch. And this is the RYOBI PCL 525. And you can get this as a bare tool. I'm not sure if you can get it with a battery kit, with a battery or not. You may be able to, but I really didn't see it. But I do see it listed as a bare tool. Again, very feature-esque, but this is what they would consider their D-handle jigsaw. So you have your typical jigsaw look here. But let's go over the features and see where these things compare. Now, we're not going to run through a whole performance race here on comparing these things, but we are going to look at them as far as features go, to again see where do you fall as far as value goes, not just on price, but you know, where do you fall as to which tool you grab. Now, I will say that if you're a barrel grip guy, you're a barrel grip guy, and many times when somebody goes from a D-handle to a barrel grip, they really don't like to go back. So just the comfort and feel and the maneuverability and everything else on a barrel grip is just kind of second to none. Again, there are some D-grip handles out there that are D-grip lovers out there as well. But let's get started here. And really what I want to compare are these two here, the Carvex and the RYOBI. And not so much to say that there's anything wrong with either one, but just to see how close they compare in features and what they offer in regards to the big price gap. Now, as I mentioned, the barrel grip design on here. So you see you have your rubber overmolding here where the hand basically fits right here on the tool. And you kind of get that center of gravity feel right there at the palm of your hand, and everything is being steered from here versus kind of holding it like a handle. You're just kind of guiding this tool, and it really has a different feel. If you haven't tried it, you need to try it. Same goes on the FESTOOL as well. Again, you're going to kind of rest your hand here. It's got kind of some finger divots right there where it's going to rest for your forefinger and your thumb to go. And whether you're left-handed or right-handed, it's still easy to guide this tool. Now let's look at size comparison really quick on this. Full length of this tool is going to be right at 12 inches from the front to the back. Now, they are claiming this is part of their compact series. Not sure where they're determining that, but just thought I'd let you know it is part of their compact series, also part of their HP lineup. So you're getting a brushless motor with this as well. But again, less than 12 inches long, and looks like standing almost 7 inches, about 6 3/4 inches tall. On the Carvex or the FESTOOL, a little over 12 inches, just over 12 inches. And again, right at 6 3/4 inches tall. So it looks like as far as size-wise, these things are really, really close. Again, I think you can see where the RYOBI just may be a touch shorter where the battery sticks out versus the FESTOOL is. And if we look at the D-handle, obviously that one's going to be taller. So it's coming in at about 8.5, 8 3/4 inches. And as far as length, at about 11 inches. So maybe an inch shorter, but quite a bit taller in the height section. Width, not going to be a big deal. About as wide as the battery is going to be your widest point, and that goes for all three of these. Now let's look at the weight on these for the RYOBI Barrel Grip with the 2 amp hour battery. It looks like 4 pounds and 14.5 ounces. Now for the FESTOOL, 5 pounds, 8.5 ounces. So quite a bit heavier, but probably in the battery because this is running a 5.2 amp hour battery versus the 2 amp hour battery. And for the D-handle, 5 pounds, 4 ounces. So it looks like about 6-8 ounces heavier than its barrel grip brother here. But still shy of 5 pounds with the battery on the RYOBI Barrel Grip. As I mentioned earlier, it's an HP tool, so we get the brushless motor. On the D-handle, it is not a brushless motor, so you're going to get a regular brush motor. Not a big deal. Still going to be able to perform most of the same things that the barrel grip can do, just maybe not as fast or as smooth, but we'll go over that. And then on the FESTOOL, yes, we get a brushless motor on the FESTOOL, lithium-ion battery on the FESTOOL as well. Most every battery is lithium-ion nowadays. Now, as far as turning these on and off, the really nice thing about the barrel grip, especially the RYOBI, is you have a slide button right here. There is really no safety other than just turning this on. So you see, you do that with that little slide button right there. But the cool thing is, let's say, and just to point this out, so when your hand's resting here, I can easily slide that button to turn it on and off. Now, what if I'm left-handed? My thumb's on the other side. Well, maybe I could do it with my index finger, or flip this over, same thing over here. So you actually have a on-off button on both sides of the tool, so very ambidextrous tool, not relying upon just a right-handed thumb or a left-handed thumb. You can do that on either side. And on the FESTOOL, same thing. You have an on-off switch, one there, and one there as well. Now on the D-handle, you're just going to have a trigger pull. You do have a lock right there that locks it, so that's kind of your safety. But as long as it's unlocked, pull the trigger and go. You are going to have a variable speed trigger, so you can make it go as slow as you want and then ramp that up as you need to. Now, as far as speeds on this, I'm not sure on the Carvex. On the RYOBI Barrel Grip, you're looking at 900 to 3,200 strokes per minute with a 1-inch stroke. Now, that's really dependent upon which setting you have it on, and we'll show that here in a moment. On the D-grip, it's actually going to be 0 to 3,000 strokes per minute. So 3,200 here, 3,000 on the D-grip, and that's dependent upon how much trigger you pull. So there are no speed dials. The wide open is going to be 3,000, and then again, I can make this crawl as slow as I want to, or as fast as I want to. Now, one of the cool things about the RYOBI Barrel Grip is that right under here, we have a speed dial. And this speed dial allows us to go from everywhere from A, which is basically auto, all the way up to 6, which is wide open, which is going to give you that 3,200 strokes per minute. Now, there's also in-betweens here as well. So it's not like detents. It's actually a variable speed dial where you can actually dial in however fast you want it to go. It's not just 6 different speeds. The auto mode is pretty cool because what auto is going to allow us to do is it's going to run slow. So I've got it in auto mode. Let me turn it on. So it's maybe not the slowest, but you can see if I turned it wide open to 6, that's much faster. So in auto, what it's going to do is it's going to start slow, and as soon as we start entering the wood or whatever we're cutting, as soon as it feels like that it's being kind of dragged down, it will increase that speed, increase that torque, and speed that up so that your cut never suffers. But it'll allow you to enter that wood or enter that cut at a slower pace as soon as you get into it. The tool, as it's going to demand, the tool is going to realize that it needs more power, and it's going to speed things up and add more power to the cut. And the same thing on the FESTOOL, it has an auto mode as well. Now the barrel grip is going to offer a tool-free blade change, so I can just slide this in, let go, and now that's locked in, and I'm ready to go. And then as soon as I'm done and want to change blades or put it away, open that up, spring loaded, going to push that blade out, so no tools needed. Same thing with the D-handle here, except on the D-handle I do have to reach down here, turn that over, and push that in to lock it into place, and then to release it, push that, and it's going to eject it. So not quite as comfortable to do because I do have to do it right here, but still a tool-free blade change. Same thing with the FESTOOL right here. That's going to actually release the blade. On the barrel grip, we get a non-marring shoe that we can easily remove. Pull that off, and then we have that die-cast metal bottom, and then a sheet metal plate on the bottom as well. And if we want to change the bevel on this, we do have to use a tool. That is not tool-free. So we have this hex tool that's mounted right there on the tool, on the jigsaw. We can loosen this, and then we actually have an indexed. And then we also have an index location for 45 degrees on the left and 45 degrees right as well as even in 0. So that's going to kind of lock it into place. If you want in between, you can do that and tighten the Allen bolt and you're good. But at 0 and 45 on either side, just put it in the index location, tighten it down, and you're good to go. And by the way, here on the bottom, you can also store extra blades right here in the slots of the shoe. Put that on there, and you've always got that blade handy and ready to go. Again, right here on the other side, this is where our tool, our hex tool, is going to reside. All 4 of these tools are going to have 4 orbit settings or 4 orbit modes. And right here on the barrel grip, it's right here on the side. So at 0, basically you're going to have 0 oscillation in that blade. It's just going to go up and down. And then on 1, it's going to oscillate or orbit just a little bit. And of course, on 2 and 3, even more so of that oscillation or orbit that's going to be much more aggressive. So in 3, going to have a really aggressive cut. You may have some splinters, especially in plywood and even in lumber. And if you want that really smooth cut, again, you can go to a finer tooth blade, or you can go to 0 as well and get that real nice glassy finish on the edge, as well as no splinters on the top. And that's going to be the same case for the FESTOOL as well. 4 different orbit modes. And all of those are pretty simple and easy to do right here at the base of the tool near the blade. And also, as you turn the tool on, you get an LED light. It's going to shine down on the work where you're cutting and see your cut line. The Carvex is going to be a little bit different. It does have an LED, but it's actually got 4 LEDs. And it actually uses like a strobe effect that matches the stroke or the RPM of the tool as well. So pretty odd when you're actually looking down at your cut line. You can see it really clear, but uses a little more technology in that LED side. So again, 4 LEDs here and just a single LED on these other 2. But again, they're all offering plenty of light right there at your cut line. And then something else that the 2 barrel grips offer that the D grip does not offer is the ability to have a blower that actually blows dust out of the way as you're cutting. Now, on the FESTOOL, it's on all the time. So if you're cutting, it's kind of blowing that out of the way. With the RYOBI, you can actually turn that blower on or off right here with this slide switch. So you can actually tell it that you want it to blow those fragments away, or you can actually turn that off and have it not blow that away. So sometimes maybe you don't want that, or maybe you're actually using dust extraction, which is our next feature, but you do have the ability on the RYOBI to turn that on or off. On the FESTOOL, you have dust extraction here at the rear of the tool if you have the actual adapter in. So right there below the battery and beneath and rear of the tool, or rear exit of the tool. The cool thing about the RYOBI is here's our dust extractor here. And if I have it in, it slides right here in the rear of the shoe. And you can see it's pulling out left of the tool. Now let's say I don't like that, or I'm positioned where that's not going to work. That's no problem. Pull it out, turn this, it actually pivots, put it back in. And now you're pulling dust from the right-hand side of the tool. So very easy and quick to change that if you need to. Again, no tools needed. Just pull it out and swap it over and then pull extraction from the other side. I believe internal dimensions is 1 1/4 and external dimensions is 1 7/8. So fit most of your small vac hoses, or an adapter will quickly make it adapt, or your friend duct tape will work as well. And now let's talk about pricing and warranty. The FESTOOL is going to run you north of $500 for a kit. So if you want the battery, the charger, and the tool, it's going to be somewhere around that $550 and up range, depending on what you get. With the RYOBI, you're looking at $139 for a bare tool, so just the tool and a 3-year warranty. If you want the kit with a 2 amp hour battery and a charger and the tool, you're looking at $189. So only adding $50 to get a battery and charger, and you're getting that 3-year warranty for the tool and for the battery. And then on the D-handle there, that's going to come just as a bare tool, but only $69. So if you're in the $69 range, you're probably not even thinking about this tool over here, and you shouldn't be. If you're in that barrel grip range and you want a good barrel grip jigsaw, or you want a really good or a great barrel grip jigsaw, both of these are going to be great jigsaws for you. However, to really step up to a $500 plus jigsaw, you probably already really know what you need anyway, but there's really not a lot that's separating these two now. So now we're going to talk about, smoothness and how they cut and everything else. And I would suggest to you, if you're that close, put them both in your hand. In fact, you may want to try 4 or 5 different ones. If you're willing to step up to that chasm of a price, which again, many people will and many people do, and that's absolutely fine. That's probably maybe 10% of that market that needs a good jigsaw is going to step up that far. Probably not even that much. And again, that's not a knock on FESTOOL at all. They're a great tool, and they've kind of proven their worth and proven their name in the woodworking industry. But what I'm saying is there's a huge segment there to be able to step up a little bit to a really nice jigsaw with this barrel grip. But now let's use it and see what we think. Okay, really small thing I wish would happen would be that if there was some sort of way this was pitched a little more where this would rest on the battery. So if you had a blade in there, you didn't have to rest it on the blade. That's not a big deal. I mean, we can always lay it on its side, but just would be cool if that were pitched a little more. And I'm sure there's a reason maybe they didn't do that. But anyway, just small mention. So we do have it in the auto mode setting, and I've got a little racetrack design here. We're gonna cut really quick. I've got this in 0, so no orbit. It's just going to move up and down. I'm using the blade that it actually came with. I think it's a 10 TPI, 10 teeth per inch blade, and again in auto mode. So here we go. So you hear that slower speed? Once I get in, it should ramp up. So I backed off, it slowed back down. As soon as I wasn't pushing on it, it realized that it didn't demand that much power anymore, and it slowed that down. And so then obviously I shut it off. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. Number one, I have the blower on, and you see it's clearing all that dust. I'm not doing any dust extraction, but yet it hasn't left any dust in its path. Now I'm going to turn that blower off. Same blade, same speed in auto. Again, once I push on it, you'll hear it ramp up. So you see all the dust accumulating right here, right at the blade, because that blower's not on. Let me turn it back on. So I'm just going to reach down here, slide that forward. And you see it's already cleared that. As soon as it ramped up, that blower is going to obviously blow about as fast as the motor does because it's driven off the motor. And it cleared that whole path out, and now I can see my line again. And I really like that, like those tight corners right there, as long as your blade can handle it, which it's kind of, we're reaching a little capacity here on that tight of a corner on this blade. Number one, the ramp up of the power. Number two, my hand is kind of right above that point of control or point of angle change where I can easily steer this without having to, I don't know how to explain it. Just try it. Trust me, you'll like the barrel grip. So let me just show you right here. So right now I'm putting a pretty tight corner. Now what I could do is do what I should is back up a little bit and make that corner and not go around or beyond my mark there. But also what will make a huge difference, and this is regardless of what type of jigsaw you're going to run. So you can see how easy that was to remove. Buy really good jigsaw blades. They're not that expensive. They're not like reciprocating saw blades that can get pretty expensive, or oscillating multi-tool blades. You can buy multi-packs of these and they'll last you a long time, and it's going to make a big difference. This is a FESTOOL blade. You don't have to buy FESTOOL. This one's actually a little thicker. The blades are a different orientation, but a really good blade is going to make a huge difference in cutting with a jigsaw, especially if you're cutting thick lumber, or like this is 3/4 inch plywood, or even hardwoods. It's definitely going to make a huge difference when you're doing the cuts, both in the blowout or the limited blowout, as well as being able to make corners and be much more aggressive on your turns. So really good performing saw. And by the way, let's turn it up to 3 on as far as the orbit or the oscillation. So now I've got the oscillations in 3. So it's going to move that blade fore and aft as well. Let's just make a couple of straight cuts here. It's going to be very aggressive, even though with this blade it really didn't have a lot of tear out, so not a lot of splinters happening, but you can see you can go pretty quick. Now that vibration is because I was using this as a brace and it's already loose. So let's go back over here. Get a better bite. And you see how quick I can go with it in 3. Now it was actually tearing out quite a bit of stuff right here, but again, aggressive blade, pushing hard, orbit of 3, turn that down to 1. Still a rather quick cut, but not near the tear out. This thing nice and clean. And again, you can see here, just still a really clean cut. And let's just turn it up to 6 rather than auto. So a little bit of blowout on that turn there, but as far as the straightaway, nice clean cut, but still on the side of the wood, you still got a nice clean cut. Now let's go ahead and try out the barrel grip. We're going to use the saw blade that it comes with, and we're going to leave it in 0 for right now. So I'm giving it all she's got as far as the trigger pull, and I'm pushing this I'm putting an ample amount of pressure on it, trying not to ramp it down too much, but it doesn't cut near as fast as that barrel grip. Still a nice jigsaw, cut rather nice, but just not near the power in the cut. Let's ramp this up all the way up to 3. So again, I'm giving it all she's got as far as trigger pull. And you'll notice in my hand and arm, I'm getting quite a bit of vibration in this tool as well. Not near that much in the barrel grip, but quite a bit of vibration in pushing this hard and level 3 of the orbit. And you hear the drop in RPM. So again, not a bad tool, but just comparatively, you can go back to 3. So still some vibration from the orbit of 3, but not near as much. So I know you're going to want to know about the FESTOOL, so let's go ahead and put it in 3, and we've got it in auto. So yes, a very smooth tool. So really nice tool, but is it worth the $400 more? Than the RYOBI barrel grip. Now, can you notice a difference between the FESTOOL and the RYOBI? Yes, you can. There is a difference when you run these side by side, that the FESTOOL still may be a little smoother, still maybe a little more powerful, and being able to cut a little finer. But for the most part, for the most of what everybody else is going to do, they're probably not going to pay that price gap difference, and it's probably not worth it to them, doesn't make the value jump. And there's some that not only are going to be able to afford the price, but they're also going to see the value in the difference of that power and that smoothness to jump up to this. However, like I said, that's probably less than 10% of the woodworking market that are going to even see that. Now, the rest of us are probably going to be absolutely fine with something like the RYOBI Barrel Grip JigSaw and all the features it brings to the table, as well as the smoothness and the less vibration and the power it brings as well. A lot of features that RYOBI has packed into this, and we're still less than $200 all in for battery, charger, and everything. And if you want to go the cheap route and you want to go to less expensive, then $69. And if you already have a RYOBI battery, then you're well on your way and you've got a new D-handle jigsaw. But if you haven't tried a barrel grip, I highly recommend you do so, and this is a great one to start with. Hey, check it out for yourselves, $139 or $189 bare tool or kit, and then $69 for the bare tool here. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And by all means, if you hated our video, well, let us know in the comments why. Have a great day and keep smiling.